Namaste. Welcome to this episode at Itihas with Rahul. I am beginning this new video series dedicated to understanding the character and personality of the Mughal Sultan Aurangzeb, who is going to be the biggest nemesis or enemy of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. Our storyline of Shivaji Maharaj will continue. Every Thursday we are coming out with those videos. Those videos are being saved in this playlist called Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. However, I am now starting this separate video series, a separate playlist titled Aurangzeb, in which we will be discussing the life story of this powerful Sultan. Now, why did I start this? I always had this desire that I wanted to tell you the details of the entire chronicles of Aurangzeb, because if you understand who Aurangzeb actually was, then you will be able to appreciate Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj's story more. But it would have been a great injustice if I include all these stories in the storyline of Shivaji Maharaj. So that is why I have dedicated a separate playlist to tell you all these stories connected with Aurangzeb. Now in future, whenever Aurangzeb's paths will cross with Shivaji Maharaj, those stories we will be discussing in great detail in the playlist of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj itself, because those stories are connected with Shivaji Maharaj. However, those stories which are isolated from Shivaji Maharaj and connected only with Aurangzeb, those also you need to know. These stories we will be discussing and covering in this playlist titled Aurangzeb. Now, why is Aurangzeb important? As you know, at the time of Shivaji Maharaj, the Mughals were ruling India. I have been telling you about all the various invasions starting from Muhammad bin Qasim right up to the Mughals. When Shivaji Maharaj was born, Shah Jahan was at the helm. And Shah Jahan's son, that is Aurangzeb, was soon to take over the throne in the year 1658. Remember, Shivaji Maharaj is born in the year 1630. Aurangzeb was to take up the rule in 1658, and from 1658 to 1707, that is almost 50 years, he remained the ultimate boss of the Mughal Empire. So understanding the stories of Aurangzeb is as good as understanding the history of political India in the 17th century. One should know that amongst all the Mughal emperors that came from Babur to Humayun to Akbar to Jahangir to Shah Jahan to Aurangzeb, Aurangzeb's rule was the most powerful. Mughal Empire was the largest and the most powerful during the time of Aurangzeb. In fact, it is said that Aurangzeb's Mughal Empire was larger than even the empire of King Ashoka. That was the size of Aurangzeb's empire. Right from Ghazni in Afghanistan to Kashmir in the north to Karnataka in the south to Bengal in the east, this whole belt was under the control of Aurangzeb. And one important thing you should know, during Aurangzeb's rule, he did not believe in ruling smaller provinces with the help of small kings. No, the entire command and control was in his hands. The Mughal emperor was in charge personally of the entire territory, which is why the Mughal Empire was at its strongest in Aurangzeb's rule. Also, the furtherance and the pushing of the principles of Islam religion within India was the highest and the strongest and the most effective during Aurangzeb's rule, because he had taken it upon himself as a personal mission to achieve this Islamization of the entire Indian subcontinent. After achieving such peaks of glory, fame, power and success, Aurangzeb also had to witness the fall of the Mughal Empire right in front of his own eyes. It is said that even before Aurangzeb breathed his last, he saw in front of his eyes the entire Mughal treasury going bankrupt. So right from the heights of power to the depths of bankruptcy, to the depths of anarchy, to the depths of administration being broken, to the depths of no maintenance of law and order, to the depths of corruption, he saw it all in front of his eyes. He took the Mughal Empire to the pinnacle, and in front of his eyes, he saw the downfall of this huge establishment that he had built. Now one might wonder, if such a powerful emperor like Aurangzeb has seen the heights of Mughal dominance, how then in front of his eyes everything collapsed? At the end, by the time the 17th century came to a close, the Mughal Empire was in disarray. And it is not that Aurangzeb was in bad habits, he had any kind of vices. No, he was extremely disciplined. He was extremely sharp. He was extremely strict. He was extremely smart. He was extremely intelligent. He was shrewd. He was very serious about his business. He did not waste time doing useless things. In fact, it is said that he took up to the work of administration as seriously and with as much intent and passion as some of his contemporaries would take to pleasures. He was not interested in all these things. The only thing he had in mind was complete control. Such a powerful emperor. And one of the secrets of his empire, why was his empire so powerful? Because unlike others, Aurangzeb was not ruling from the comforts of a palace. He was there in a palace, of course, but he had his eyes, his ears, his hands on the ground reality. He governed right from the grassroots level. This is why he was very much involved in all decision making. That made the Mughal Empire very strong. I have with me the detailed diary notes of what Aurangzeb used to do from morning to night. When you read it, you will realize that it was not an ordinary man that can control such a huge continent on his own single-handedly. Very, very disciplined. Morning to evening, exactly he used to follow some particular schedules. His love for discipline therefore gave him the success that he wanted. Extremely strong. No weakness. No pity or mercy for enemies. No threat could terrorize him. He was that powerful. And to his father's credit, it was Shah Jahan who had given years and years of experience to Aurangzeb in diplomacy, in administration, in wars, how to fight battles. Everything Shah Jahan had trained Aurangzeb very well from childhood, and Aurangzeb was completely ready. Of course, the story of how Aurangzeb took the throne from Shah Jahan is very cruel. We'll talk about it as and when we reach there. But the fact is, it was his father who was also instrumental in giving him the necessary exposure. So it can be safely said, considering the number of years he was in power, considering the size of the kingdom he was ruling, considering the wealth that was at his disposal, considering the power in terms of military that he had, that Aurangzeb was one of the most powerful rulers to have ever ruled the Indian subcontinent. So it's a very fascinating tale for all of us to learn from, to know what exactly happened in his life, what all he did to take the empire to its zenith, what all happened due to which it crashed down, how was Shivaji Maharaj instrumental in it. These are fascinating tales. We will be studying them one by one. But there is one aspect of Aurangzeb's life and character that we should not miss and we should pay careful attention to. Amidst this introduction of Aurangzeb that I am giving you is the aspect of cruelty. When we discuss his stories, you will understand what cruelty actually meant. Of course, on one side, he was disciplined, he was patient, he was perseverant, he was strong, he was intelligent, he was sharp. All those things are there. Can't deny it. But on the other side, there is this dark side of Aurangzeb, which is filled with hatred and cruelty. When we discuss his stories, you will shiver down your spine. So be ready to understand the history of Aurangzeb through this video series that I'm coming out with. See you in the next episode.